Ready? Okay. Hi. I'm Chrissy. We're here with doing a video for the love of tech.
Aaron and Chrissy with For the Love of Tech.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Tree of Life!
Vagina. So Aaron asked me to do a review of the new Sony A6500 that he just got. And I have to preface all of this first by saying I have never used a Sony camera before. This was the very first time that I had used one, that I had gone out and taken pictures with one, and I hated it.
Let's start by sharing why I got the camera.
Yeah.
I started doing the YouTube videos, and I was using my handy cam, my Sony handy cam, which is really amazing, 3D, but we're not doing 3D, but still high quality. And I wanted to up my game once I realized my Nikon camera took better video pictures. Yeah. So I went out to the Best Buy, B&B, and they suggested this to me. I was looking for 4K video capability. Mm-hmm. The problem I ran into, it heats up after 20 minutes and internally it shuts down. You can turn it right back on, but the internal components say, pause, we gotta turn off, give it a minute, and then start back up again. That didn't work.
Because the videos you shoot are much longer than that.
And sometimes I trim them down with editing, but yeah, it wasn't working.
But for the most part, yeah.
I asked Chrissy, who is a photographer, who has much more experience with pictures than me, give this a try. Take it home for a week or so, play with it. She wanted the manual. She wanted to read it.
I wanted to read the directions.
Who does that?
I do that.
She does that. She wanted to read the manual so she can understand the features and the capabilities of the camera. And for $1,700, it needs to be amazing, right? It needs to be amazing. And that's what I told Chrissy. Tell me what you think about this camera and if I should take it back. So here we are, talking about the camera in her review.
So, my first day with it, this was before I read the manual. I just wanted to see, because I had never used a Sony, I wanted to see how I liked using it, what I could do just initially, and I spent so much time trying to figure out where all the buttons were and everything that I was doing. So, and I had this problem with the autofocus. Like, supposedly there's this autofocus is supposed to be spectacular and amazing and awesome. And the very first day that I used it, it had a complete mind of its own. And I was like, why is this freaking out? And then I found out that the touch screen back here is a touch screen. Yeah. So I was looking through the viewfinder, and as I took the picture, my nose would hit it. And it took me like a half an hour to figure that out.
You must have been getting it like right at the point of where screen turning off, nose hitting the screen, eyeball hitting the viewfinder.
I don't know, it could have been my cheek, it could have been my nose.
Yeah, it must have been like that.
There was like a lot of this going on.
That brief moment of like, wow.
Yeah. And once I instead of using the viewfinder, started using the display on the back, that problem went away. Also, there is a setting that you can take the autofocus off of the screen as well. Okay. So that alleviated that problem. Then what happened? Then I don't remember what happened after that though. So then I went to Disney for a day.
Disney is the happiest place on the planet.
And we had some great times. We also had a lot of crazy times, but for the most part, it was okay. And so I'll just tell you about I carried around the camera all day, and I really enjoyed the size of this camera. Though I'm a girl, so I have like, Aaron, put up your hands. See how big that is? Wait, we gotta do it this way. Micro. Whittle bitty hands.
Little lady hands.
So this camera is little, so it's great. It's great in my hands. It feels good. It's nice and light. It's a lot less cumbersome than than a regular SLR, like the new Nikon 850 that I'm patiently waiting for. And that was one of the things that I did like. It fit in my bag very well. I carry it around inside of my bag all day, and out taking pictures, and it was all right. So I would feel like this would be a great camera for traveling with.
As far as the settings and the customization, from
read the manuals,
from a pro standpoint, right? You're a professional. Do you think that it's on par with the norm, or there's not enough settings? Is my question. Are they giving you enough to work with as a professional?
No, this is a great camera.
Okay.
No, this is amazing. I was very impressed with it. After I read the manual, I was very impressed with this camera. And once I became familiar with it after a couple of days. Because there was a learning curve. I've only used Nikon and Canons ever. I think I had a Pentax film camera like 30 years ago.
30. I was a baby.
You were a baby.
Baby.
Yeah, we were babies.
Baby.
But mostly I've used Nikon and Canon cameras. So
have you tried to use it at night?
Yes.
What was the night vision like, or what was the exposure, low light exposure? That's the proper question. What is the low light exposure like?
The ISO, I believe, I'm gonna check right now because I can't remember. I'm not good at remembering things, but the ISO goes up to,
I think it was really high from what I remember. Yeah, I think that's as high as it goes.
51,200. I never shot on that ISO. I think the highest I shot was like
which means
8,000 or
you can
16.
practically shoot in the dark.
You can.
Without a flash.
And it does really good on low light settings. I shot a lot of stuff at nighttime at Disney. And this past week they had decorated for Christmas.
Okay.
And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to bring the cameras, because I wanted to shoot in the dark.
Did you?
I did. I had trouble focusing in the dark.
But were the things lit up like a
yeah,
parade?
I took pictures of the castle.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had some problems focusing at nighttime, but the pictures that I did shoot of the castle at night with this camera came out very well.
All right. And you were not aware of the bokeh effect, or the bokeh effect that the background blur pretty much is what background blur.
So
you didn't get to play with that at all?
No.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I feel with these. Let's be real. This is a consumer camera. It's probably one of the beefiest consumer cameras you can buy without it quite being top tier professional level.
Right.
So if I want to up my game and I want to go beyond this camera, where would I go?
You would probably go with if you were sticking with Sony.
Yeah, Sony.
I would say that the next tier up from this would be.
Would it be the A7?
I think it's pretty on par with the A7. So I think that it would be the 7. Is it the 7 III R? Is that the new one? Is that the one that came out a couple days ago?
I think so. We'll go ahead.
Okay.
We'll put
I'm doing all this by memory.
We'll look it up. We'll put a screenshot right here.
Yeah.
So that's what this looks like. As you can see, it's slightly more expensive than this.
Like $4,000 more expensive.
That's the body, right? That's just the body. All right, and when we say the body, we mean for those of you that
turn it off. Make sure your camera's off before you do that. Okay.
Come on, get out of here.
Yeah. I'm gonna let him struggle with that.
This is the body, and this is the lens, right? So when you're looking at something, it says the body is just this price. Just know you still need a lens, and this is a little guy, right? This is out the box guy. There's another one that they definitely recommend for this, and I don't know if that will give you increased performance. It probably will. But that's about $800.
And well worth it.
Yeah, because
for me, it would be well worth it.
You can just do a whole hell of a lot more with it.
Yeah.
So overall, let's say I'm walking into a store and you are the camera guru and you're there either working or helping or something, and I walk up to you and I say, show me the best camera that you have, right? And let's say you're at Best Buy and Best Buy has limited options. Would you go towards a Sony, a Nikon, or a Canon? And what do you think the advantages or disadvantages of all three would be based on your experience? I know that's a big question.
That is a really big question.
That is a really big question.
I don't know if I have that's a big question. That's a long question. That's a question I don't really have all the particulars to answer that for.
Yeah.
But
it's a common question.
In the store?
Well, that's the other thing. But it's a common question because a lot of people walk up to and hey, I want to buy a camera to do this, this, and this. And I just think that unless you're at that professional level, right, maybe Best Buy isn't where you go shopping. There might be B&H, other bigger warehouse type of clearinghouse places.
Like Adorama.
They've been popping up in my notifications like crazy. They know I'm looking at equipment.
Yeah.
And Google, I blame you for this. You're telling them. So.
They want to know. They want your business. No, this is a great consumer camera. It's it could be a professional grade camera also. It is very small, which with my little lady hands, I really enjoyed. That's one thing that I don't like about like the Canon 5D Mark 35, whatever they're on right now. It's big. And also the Nikon D850, which comes out, it's also large. And then you strap a battery pack on the bottom of it. It becomes even bigger. It's very heavy. These Sony cameras are...
Let me grab my Nikon really quick
just
to get
thinner.
A good comparison of the different
because you have, yours, the Nikon you have is not professional. It's semi-professional, right?
I think, I don't know. Work done to the house so the camera gets dusty.
The key is, Aaron, this is the key. It doesn't matter which camera you own. But look at how big, see how big they are? So little lady hands, I would suggest Sony. And I think that's like ridiculous as a photographer that like, that's one of the deciding factors is the size. It should be the performance, but the performance between a lot of these cameras are so close nowadays that they're all really apples to apples. Why did you buy the 6500 instead of the 6300?
That is a great question, and I'll be more than happy to answer that. I was looking for 4K capability as far as video. That's what my main goal was, is I wanted to be able to do 4K capability. And I didn't have that with the 6300.
Right.
That was the deciding factor, and that was a $500 decision. You know, $500. Do you want to do 4K? What the gentleman did not tell me was that I'm going to only get 20 minutes out of it. And then he told me it's because of the battery. So I got a different battery thinking, that's it. The battery is the problem. But no, it's the internal guts.
It's a sensor
that says, hey, we're heating up. Time to shut down. 4K, it takes a lot of power.
Which in a way is good because it's not going to fry.
Your components.
Yeah, it's not going to fry. Yeah. It automatically shuts off. It has safety features for itself, so it doesn't commit suicide.
Whereas I have the Sony Handycam, the 6500 Handycam, and it's phenomenal. You know, it's the battery there I've charged once, like 2 weeks ago, and I still have, a quarter of battery left, so I have plenty of time.
This camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just nonstop, so
I don't have to talk faster?
No.
Okay.
No, that's a while. So I think that's kind of the intro to the A65. That's also known as Alpha 65, correct? I think they abbreviate and they say A65.
A Alpha.
My take off of this camera from being a novice, someone who loves to take pictures, is I live in autofocus. That is where I stay. That is where I have to be. If the autofocus is not on point for me, I'm stuck. I'm dead in the water. I'm stupid. I have a hard time with all the buttons. You say it's on par with the settings. I think it's too many. All right.
For you.
For me.
Yeah.
Now, with the old Nikon, which still takes amazing pictures, records at 1080p, great battery, blah, 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 everything else. The settings are simpler for me, and maybe I'm just more used to it because I've had it longer.
No, the way that this is set up is much, much more intuitive than Sony. Absolutely.
That is the word. Intuitive.
That's why I was so frustrated.
It is
because
intuitive.
I've been a photographer for most of my life. I think I got my first camera when I was like 6 at a garage sale. From my mom's coworker. He gave it to me for free.
Was it a Kodak?
It was a Kodak. I have a very large Kodak brownie collection at home. So, and I'm from Rochester, New York. What? Okay, anyway.
Where Kodak was born and died.
Where Kodak died. And which is why I moved to Florida, because Kodak was dead.
Bye-bye, Kodak.
Bye jobs. So, yeah, so the back of this, I feel, I don't know, every camera I've ever picked up, from Nikon to Sony to Pentax to Minolta to Mamiya's, everything I've picked up have been able to like just work right away with like advanced settings that I would need to locate or take some extra time to find. This camera...
You needed the manual.
I needed to read everything about it. Everything about it I needed to look at.
Who does that? Why should we have to in 2017, about to be 2018, why should we have to read a manual? We should be able to take our expensive toys, put it here and say, be amazing and make me look good.
And go. Yeah. And so over Thanksgiving, it wasn't just me. I apparently I collect old people, and most of my friends are over 75.
Not me.
Not this guy. Well, we're married, that's why.
If you watched the first video, The Birth, you would know the story.
You would know. So I went to a Thanksgiving party that had a lot of people at it, and I left the camera on the table and told everyone, here, use this camera. Let me know what you think. I put it on auto. And of course, when you leave a camera on the table, all the settings get changed. And every time I would leave the room, when I would come back to the room, they would like, this is the picture I would see, fix this. I don't know what happened. So
they just couldn't pick it up, even though it was on auto. Point and shoot.
It was on auto,
have a happy
point
picture.
and shoot, because they would have, their face was touching the thing again with the focus. And, well, that's a nice way to look. See, he uses his right eye. I use my left eye. So, see, now your face touches. And
you probably also go dead on, which then your nose does touch it.
Yeah.
And it does. It moves. I can see it in the viewfinder. My nose, when it touches it, it moves the autofocus.
Yeah.
So I can see how that's a big annoyance.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Or they would like touch something and I don't know. I mean, they're old. They
do old people things.
Yeah. I mean, most of them
They won't watch this video.
They're not going to watch this video, and they don't know how to use their iPhones. So.
So we can talk smack about them. All right. Well, I think we've had enough A65 fun for the evening. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was really basic. Like, I didn't really get all into like the nitty gritty, but with you guys, but just on the surface, a couple of days with this camera, it was frustrating in the beginning, and in the end, it's a magnificent camera. So
there's the
just
confusion,
be patient.
right?
Yeah, just be patient with the learning curve, and
it's
if
a
you
tough camera to
already
use, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, if you already have Sony, then you're already familiar with all of the interface. So have at it, enjoy a new beefed up camera.
For the love of tech, namaste.
See ya.